All right, we're back. Between streaming during the game yesterday and recording on Thursday, was it Thursday last week? I feel like I've been here every single day, and like I'm also just like exhausted. So my brain's like, I feel like I haven't actually walked away from this computer in the last week. But hey, we're back again. Normal day. JuddzBudz Budz episode 158. Gretzky plus Keelan Addison. As always, your host, Spokesy, joined by my good buddy, Mr. at State of Hoppy. How we doing?
I feel the same as you, but I also feel like that's our payback for being gone 3 weeks. Now we're caught up. We're good. We'll see you guys in a week.
Yeah, we're gonna exactly.
Signing off.
Yeah, I mean, you were just talking about and like it's not like I ever sleep in general, but like today sucked. Like I was working and I was like, I literally feel like I can't read. And I don't even know if it was just the fact that it was like the hockey game followed by immediately trying to go to bed at like 2:00 in the morning. I still had some adrenaline pumping there, but like significantly more tired, more than usual today than like any other time.
I'd say that's fair on all counts.
But
so far, mostly good hockey. Like really only one game is uneventful so far. Like Toronto took care of business, but for a chunk of that game, it was a good game.
Yeah, I mean, it was also like high event hockey, so it's like it's always just fun to watch anyways. And like I don't know if it's just because they weren't playing the Bruins or the Lightning for once in the first round, but like that building was actually pretty juiced. Usually it's like really not crazy.
You know why? Because all the corporate bigwigs that are usually there had to do shit for Easter. So the lowly peasants were able to go. And they're the real fans.
Yeah. Or they all bought the tickets for Ottawa. They're going to be in Ottawa.
They don't even want to go to the Toronto games. They just want to go to Ottawa.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Like if there were two teams in Minnesota, if there was a Minneapolis and a St. Paul, and my team was the St. Paul based one, I would much rather go to the Minneapolis one and just be a dickhead, you know?
That's fair. That's fair.
That's a really bad example because that's like too close. How far are Toronto and Ottawa?
Couldn't tell you.
Fargo, North Dakota has an NHL team somehow. I would rather go there and just be a horrible person than go to the Minnesota game.
That's before he even shows up to the game. You know, he's just going to be a piece of shit on the streets for a little bit. Then he's going to go to the hockey game.
I mean, odds are I won't even make it to the game.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, yeah. I mean, it's an interesting dichotomy. I'd love to Pete Blackburn's take on the Kachucks because they said that they are exclusively following Brady this year because they got the Stanley Cup experience with Matthew. It's like, that just means they're lazy and they don't want to go back and forth between Ontario and Florida. That's it.
I mean, it's Brady's time, I guess, but kind of for family going to the games, I guess. I'll be honest, I do miss seeing him just getting absolutely buckled at the stands, though.
That was going to be my comment, though. I wish that Matthew, like somehow the Panthers didn't make it, and Matthew just like 3x's his beer output.
They lose in 2. They lose to the Lightning in 2, and then he just in Toronto. The Battle of Ontario goes 7 games, so then the rest of the time he's there in the stands going nuts.
Ooh.
Electric.
This is gonna be a really like. It's not even a good question now that I think about it, but if you took like a super team of Ontario and a super team of Florida, is it even a contest?
No.
At first I was going to say who would win. I'm like, that just doesn't even seem like a real question.
I was like,
oh my God. An all Florida team would be
dangerous.
Unhinged.
Just a bunch of Brandon Duhaimes running around. That would be scary.
No. I think you misunderstood.
Yeah.
I'm saying the teams that make up Florida and the teams that make up Ontario.
I was literally
Florida
versus like. Hold on a second.
Saying like, Tampa and Florida merged together.
Yeah.
Best team out of that.
Yeah, no, that's still no, not close. Yeah, not that close at all, probably.
Cosgrove, you know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please. It says Ottawa is 400 kilometers away from Toronto.
Feels far.
Like non-playoff related, we do have to talk. Like, there's a lot of interesting things happening with non-playoff teams. Definitely towards the top of the list, Dan Bylsma lasts one season. Pretty insane that they've announced that Seattle is moving on from Dan Bylsma as the head coach.
Yeah, like, weird how multiple coaches haven't really been able to crack it with this team yet. It's almost as if there's other issues there, as in like the free agency that they just decided to put together last year. I mean, I thought it was good. The fact that they gave him, the fact that he was one and done is crazy. You have to wonder. I mean, like, I don't know. I haven't gotten any other updates since then. Like, if it's like a situation with St. Louis where it's like someone becomes available, they jump on it right away. Given the fact that there have been changes across the league recently, it would probably be even more concerning if you're the Kraken if that's the case, because the most recent firing was Peter Laviolette, which probably don't really want anything to do with like what's been going on in New York the past year or so. You probably don't want to invite that. But yeah, I mean, Dan Bylsma was just getting one and done. That's crazy, actually, though. I mean, they were a very bad team, obviously, but
worse than I expected. But also expectations, like, there's no way that playoffs were the real expectation. That might have been like the organizational expectation, but that's also just unrealistic.
Well, yeah. And I mean, the thing is too, like, you looked at those specifically, the two big fucking contracts they gave out to Chandler Stevenson and Brandon Montour. I think you and I are on the same page. Like, yeah, this will like help for like 2 years, maybe 3 years, but those contracts are going to be absolute anchors unless the cap significantly rises and they can like continue producing at the clip that they've been a couple of years.
I mean, the cap has risen
already. We like Montour again, put up some decent points again. Like, that's just, he's going to, it's just his way he plays. But
wasn't he like one of the top goal scorers on the blue line?
I think so.
So like they did their job, but they were the only ones.
Yeah. So Stevenson was the one that was just like, ooh, that is a contract and a half. I think it ended up with like 13, 14 or something. But
he played okay though. And the funny thing though is, if you don't sign these awful contracts that they never should have signed in the first place, they're probably getting the first overall pick.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was like probably a bit of a long shot for them to make the playoffs. I'm sure they expected to make the playoffs, just how it usually goes. But they were significantly worse than any of us anticipated. But again, like, I still don't know if that necessarily justifies one season of Bylsma and then giving up. So
yeah, pretty gnarly. The other, as far as coaching goes, it is pretty crazy to me that like there's articles everywhere about how like New York Rangers, should really pursue Mike Sullivan when that's like super legal to do. I think the Penguins should try and sign Alexis Lafreniere, but I guess that's not legal either. The bigger tampering going on. Did you see Jim Rutherford's press conference?
Yeah. Do you have do we have the actual quote up? Because Mateo just told me before we started. I literally was like already getting annoyed by some of the tweets that was getting sent to me last night before I went to sleep.
Yeah.
So I literally didn't look at that today, other than I got like a couple updates about the Seattle thing. That was it.
I'll be very close, but this is paraphrasing. But he basically says like signing Quinn Hughes is absolutely the priority for the organization, but it's not completely in their hands because Quinn has made it clear that he wants to play with his brothers. So, in a sense, it's out of their hands, but also if they get the brothers, then it is in their control. It's like, there is no way that this is acceptable. I believe, because I went and found it after Isha and I talked about it for fellowship this week, but I went and saw that Wyshynski quoted it. And he's like, so is this soft tampering, hard tampering? Like what are we going with here? Like
you have to wonder, like, what if
dementia?
Well, it's just like Quinn never said that. Like he never and he just like sees that he's like, what the fuck? Like, because it's also Vancouver, so like the fan base is gonna be melting down immediately. Yeah, I mean, what the fuck was that? It was a wild, just offering that up relatively unprompted outside of like, hey, what's the deal with the contract negotiation?
That's great, because Alvin's like sitting there and he's like, I want to stop you, but I know I don't have the authority to do that.
He had so much time to get ready for this press conference, and he actually I probably did it on purpose. Fuck it, he floated out the possibility of either Quinn getting traded out of Vancouver to go play with his brothers, or that if they make a massive move for both of them. It's like, dude, what was your plan coming in? It was fucking nuts. I mean, they continue to make news too. They didn't exercise the option on Tockett's contract. I think I saw that one as well. So that's potentially another coach. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. That was all I saw, was just the fact that they're not exercising the extra year on that contract. So he might be available. Who knows, dude? But I mean, Cosgrove put in the comments earlier, like, it is crazy how quick coaches are like just getting gassed. And naturally, I'll do the annoying immediate reaction every time, is like the carousel just continues. But it's just like, hey, if you get fired, you might get hired in 10 minutes. You might get hired in like 10 days. The same, more or less the same guys. But it's just like the fact that it's like 2.5 years is nuts. So like, I feel like John Hines is already, he's got to be like the top half. Longest tenured coaches probably in Minnesota. Got here like a year and a half ago. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And I think the one that's going to become really fun as far as the coaching sphere goes, threw up a poll earlier on the MNCAA account. David Carl will be the head coach of blank in 2025-2026. Denver Pioneers, Chicago Blackhawks, Anaheim Ducks, New York Rangers. Aside from the Rangers, it's pretty spread.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still very torn on how that might land.
Yeah, I mean, part of me really would I mean, I just, and this will tie into something else. Another fucking great GM moment. It would be fun to see if he could get something going in Anaheim, dude. Like, they have so many young players. Listen, they were right around 500 this year. Like, second half of the season, they're actually decent as far as like some of the wins they were putting up, and like some of the young guys that are coming on. Leo Carlson's looked really good down the stretch too. But obviously, like, you have that just such a strong group of really young players that are really starting to like look comfortable in the NHL. And they've got a couple guys there from college. Who knows if they want to? Zegras is still there. Get David Carl in there.
Hang on though. That's if David Carl goes to the Ducks, immediately Anaheim Ducks fans are coming out being like, yo, why don't we just trade Zegras to Minnesota for Zeev Buium?
Oh, yeah.
And they will think that that's a very valid trade offer.
It's like 1 for 1. No, I wouldn't. I mean, again, we talked about David Carl a couple days ago, but like, if he's gonna make the jump, it's probably now's the time. And it's like, he's gonna have all these offers, and if he's confident that he can like take a young group of players to the next level, I feel like Anaheim's a pretty sweet spot to do that.
Chicago's probably a better landing spot for him, though.
Fair, yeah. But it's like teams like that, I guess. So I don't know. I just don't want him to end up in Chicago, because I fucking don't want.
No, neither do I. And the one that's interesting, someone had, God, I think it might have been Lazarus actually, was saying, while he doesn't support Joel Quenneville coming back, he could have easily seen the New York Rangers be a team that like just their give a fuck meter on public opinion is non-existent. But after Artemi Panarin decides to sexually assault someone, you probably can't bring in the coach that buried sexual assault, right?
Yeah, probably a bad time.
Like,
probably. I mean, there's
that
probably
would be
never a good
psychotic.
time, you know. But like, yeah, that would be the ultimate. Like, okay, they really don't give a fuck. That's fucked up. Yeah, I mean, either way, whenever that does happen, whenever he does come back, I am already not looking forward to any. Like, the next week is going to be hell. There's just nothing fun. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna.
What if I told you he's gonna land in Boston?
I think they've also already burned enough of a PR.
But they don't have a sexual assault case on their hands. It is different.
And they've already taken a couple PR hits lately that like really did not, like, it was bad here for a little bit. So I don't think they want to do that.
I forgot about this one, but Gage Osmus right away came out and said, should Seattle look into Dave Hackstall as a possible replacement? I love it.
Yeah. Keep the carousel going.
Bradbury, let's go.
Back.
Oh man. Anything else just like non-playoff teams that we want to talk about, or did we exhaust it?
No, I think it's probably good to just get right into the playoffs.
All right. Producer Mateo, take us on a journey. Are we starting with non-Minnesota teams, or are we starting with Minnesota?
Will he turn the mic
I think this means we're sticking with this. So,
by the way, I can't get enough of the fucking 5.
He understood the assignment.
It feels about right, dude.
I hope he sticks with this graphic forever, and eventually it's going to be like 2031, and he's crossing off the 24. It works. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Isha earlier. We've gotten 5 games so far, because as we record, the third day of games is starting. Have you dramatically changed your opinion on any of the series based on one game? Like, what caught your eye the most that you're like, oh, I was not ready for this?
No, I think for the most part, I'm just gonna think off the top of my head now. Like, I don't think anything's really caught me by surprise. Like, I mean, I was somewhat surprised about just how good of a hockey game that Jets Blues game 1 was. I mean, I figured it would be like fun to watch in terms of like they're gonna be killing each other. It's like, you know, St. Louis is coming in hot. Winnipeg, the barn is just nuts. And like they're obviously having the season that they're having. But I mean, went back and forth, and then like Winnipeg to rally at the end. There was a fucking great game. Then anytime you get a like right at the end, you get that scrum. We love that too. But I was surprised like how kind of like electric a game that was. They went back and forth for a while there, and again, like Winnipeg pulling it off. A couple big saves from Hellebuck, which is obviously, I think him just getting that game 1 win was so fucking important. Just like there's been so much attention on how like ridiculous he was this year. But then immediately it's like, well, if you go back in time, like it's almost like the conversation with like the Leafs in general. It's like, well, what the playoffs going to look like? So it's, I think for him just to get that game 1 win, and he did make a couple big time saves, real nice saves. I think that was huge for him too. But that was a great game.
He looked pretty human, and I think game 2 is going to be big there, because if he looks similarly human, I don't care if they win both games. Like, that could mean bad things going forward in the series. Like, he needs to be regular season Hellebuck, not to win against the Blues. Like, you can win if he's not at like full go, but you're not going far. He's got to be your guy. He has to be.
Well, yeah.
But for me, honestly, I'm going to go reverse on this. I said Avalanche in 5, but I actually thought Dallas looked really good. Like, people are like, oh, like Colorado's so much better. Like, I actually thought Dallas played a really good game. And weirdly enough, the difference was, sure, there was like some fluky and like opportunistic goals for the Avalanche, which that happens. You can't like poo-poo it, but I didn't have the goaltending battle going to Colorado on my bingo card.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting thing to follow, because again, if that's flipped the way that you would have expected it, maybe Dallas squeaks that one out. Like, if Ottinger can step up, like, Dallas showed me more than I expected them to. And it's a depleted roster, right? They're missing a couple of key players, and that's the big reason that I said Colorado in 5. But I don't think the score was at all indicative of how most of that game played out.
Yeah, what did it finish? 5-1?
Yeah.
4-1, 5-1? Yeah, well, definitely was it. Especially you go into that first intermission 0-0 still. That first goal was a ridiculous fluke. I watched it about 11 times before I could figure out what exactly happened there. I had some from me that's clearly a distinct kicking motion. I was like, what are you talking? His leg moved. I don't that was crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. But then they, like you said, the goaltending battle firmly in game 1 with the Colorado. But the same way we just talked about Hellebuck, the last couple of years we had the same conversation with Ottinger, where there have been games where he's been ridiculous, but there have also been some really poor performances from him in the playoffs. So it's kind of this similar conversation. Obviously, Hellebuck's got more of that a longer track record or whatever. But I feel like that we've at least talked about that leading up to this series too. But at the end of the day, yeah, Dallas was definitely more impressive than I thought they were going to be. Same time, it ends up being 5-1 just because Colorado just has relentless, an endless amount of firepower in that roster. They can generate offense from nothing. I think what did they get 2 empty netters maybe? I can't even now. I'm blanking on.
Confirmed, very fun though.
Yeah,
them and Tampa are the most fun teams, even though we haven't seen Tampa play yet. But just facts.
Yeah, I think Dallas again, they were pretty impressive in long stretches of that game. At the end of the day, I still think just Colorado has way too much firepower for them to be able to make it it's crazy. I keep forgetting that they're technically the higher seed, just how things went down the stretch, obviously. So it kind of also really doesn't help them here. Or if you split one, then all of a sudden all Colorado has to do is win home games.
How over the top is it for me to say that if the Colorado Avalanche win the Stanley Cup, it is the most impressive Stanley Cup in the salary cap era, because they literally did a wholesale change mid-season. 2 new goalies, 2 new middle 6 centers. They overhauled the roster in a way that I've never seen from a team that actually went on to contend. Usually that's okay, we did this, maybe in the next year or 2, we're going to be in the right spot. Masterclass by that front office.
Well, remember when we were doing our season previews, we're do they have enough guys on their roster to play? I don't think they have enough healthy players ready to go.
Yep.
No, but yeah, like you said though, at the beginning of the season, it was looking all right, this potentially could be some kind of a transitional year. They obviously don't have to break it down to the studs, but they are not the same Colorado that we've seen in a long time. And then just so far, every change that they've made, every move they've made, has paid off. And like you said, getting 2 new goalies and signing them, and it's very impressive body of work from that front office for sure. It's tough to even find a comparable. If they were to, obviously we're 1 game into the playoffs, but if they were to pull this off,
the other one is the other fun team, Tampa.
Yeah.
The bold decision to say goodbye to Stamkos, bring back McDonough, bring in Gensel, the deadline moves they made that I thought rivaled the ones that Colorado made. Dude, this is a team that a lot of people said wasn't going to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And now they're a front runner. It's both these teams are very paralleled storylines, both of them in a grueling matchup round 1 where everyone's well, whoever wins that is going to the cup. They are very much on the same timeline, but it's hard for me to not see Colorado. Vegas is going to be a hell of a West final.
Boom. He said it. But just because I haven't played it real quick on the Tampa thing, I've always loved Ryan McDonough. This may have been one of the most impressive seasons from him in his career. I didn't think he was done, but I did not know he had this much legitimately borderline. I don't know. I don't really throwing the word elite around, but like his defensive play has just been unfucking believable this year. I mean, I think he ended up, I mean, it's a stupid stat, but like leading the entire league in plus minus. I think he was like almost like plus 40 this year. Like what a season. And I think he's obviously like a major outside of just like the offense from those forwards, but like on that back end specifically, like how much he did to like lighten the load from Hedman, lighten the load from like Vasilevsky. Like at his age, to keep playing at this level is ridiculous.
And it's going to be hilarious when he gets told after this season that he either has to waive his no trade to go to Anaheim, or he'll be waived and be landing with Chicago. And he's going to, I guess I'm going to Anaheim, and he's going to hate himself again.
Yeah, I'll see you guys I'll see you guys back here in like 18 months.
Yeah. There's, what did I just have? I just lost it. Oh, the other fun off, like non-playoff team one is the depressed Dylan Larkin basically saying our GM didn't help us at all. And guess what, buddy? It's only getting worse for you because the Atlantic is only getting better. Literally the only team that might be going the other direction, depending on the moves they make, is Buffalo. But like Montreal leveling up. Senators leveling up. I like Boston not going to be as bad as they were down the stretch here. Is Steve Yzerman's job on the line next year? Or is he just immune to anything?
I think that might be just like the right way to ask the question. It's like, do you think that he ever could potentially ever be in trouble?
Exist?
Is there like ever, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like they made it pretty interesting down the stretch, which I was like, I didn't think they would even do that, to be honest with you. I mean, at one point though, in the East, it was like the battle of what team wanted to get to that fucking last wild card spot. Like everyone was playing so bad. Like the Bruins traded half their fucking roster, and we're still like 2 points outside of a wild card spot for like 8 games. It's like no one wants this apparently. But yeah, definitely don't expect a player to be pretty upfront, especially like in Detroit with Stevie Y as your GM. Part of me wonders if Stevie Y kind of loves that though. Who knows? He's kind of a sick puppy. So we'll see. I mean, just like any of these teams who like really have been missing out on the playoffs the last couple of years, like they're going to say the same thing. It's going to be like, this is the year that we have to take that step forward and get into the playoffs and blah, 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 blah. We'll see what they can make happen in the offseason here. Because, I mean, between the offseason and the trade deadline, this like Red Wings basically just didn't do much of anything all that exciting. So, I mean, they've got plenty of holes to fill. I mean, they've got some young guys coming too, but I don't really know what to make of that team anymore. It's just like it feels like they are what they are. Like, I don't know. It was crazy too, given the fact that Larkin was so good at the Four Nations too. You had to wonder if they were like, you know what, we're in the mix here. Let's make some bigger moves to try to really push. And it was pretty much nothing. Did they do anything at the deadline? I don't think they did. Bring in the 15th goalie.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, like you said though, the Atlantic isn't getting any easier. Like for a long time, right. like a very long time.
It's tough. Back on the playoffs. Funny that like this stuff about the Hughes brothers, leaving New Jersey and going to Vancouver per one Jim Rutherford came out, because it appears Jacob Markstrom agrees, because he's assaulting the only healthy Hughes brother mid-game. The fuck was that?
Yeah, that was brutal. I was just like, that game was just like, ooh. I mean, we already talked about the Devils were so depleted coming in. Then, of course, that looked like a nasty injury to Brendan Dillon. Apparently, he wanted to come back. I don't know how. I mean, he's also just a fucking warrior.
He's a warrior, dude.
Been really good too. So of course he gets hurt. Luke gets murdered by his own goaltender. Maybe Markstrom wants to go back. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, this one feels like maybe they get one. Maybe. Like Carolina just has too much for them. The Devils are so depleted. So, I mean, we talked about that too. Like it's really disappointing because there's so many fun players that could have been one of the more intriguing, enjoyable series to watch, just in terms of like north-south hockey, the skill, the scoring, like scoring from the back end in the case of New Jersey, but we just got obviously robbed of that. And I mean, Jack Hughes being out really fucking sucks. He was so good before he got hurt, but that's the way it goes.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles. Ottawa, Toronto. Anything in particular there besides Toronto for the first time ever is the experienced team and showed it?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously there's a whole lot of noise out of Ottawa about the officiating. Some of those calls were brutal. But I mean, we're pretty well versed in, hey, don't fucking like immediately antagonize the referees further in the media after the game. They have not opted for that route. So we'll see how that goes. But it was pretty crazy lopsided, I think, the penalties. But I mean, some of them were just dumb. So, but yeah, Toronto looks good, and it was big for guys like Marner to score in game one. Like they were getting that the play from oh my god, the dude that went there from Philly. How am I here right now? How am I blanking?
Oh, Lawton.
Yeah, Scott Lawton. That pass that he made, like the stop up and just hitting OEL in stride, and then OEL rips one home for that first goal. That was like, it obviously doesn't look like anything all that impressive, but that was a phenomenal play. And they were just making the right plays pretty much for 60 minutes. The scoreline indicated how that went.
Let's be real though, aside from the team that they're playing against, what's the biggest difference for Toronto?
Well, Stolarz was unbelievable again.
That is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
He is looking the part. Now, can he handle a full playoff regimen? We'll see. But looked a hell of a lot more competent than any goalie since when we've seen the good sides of Freddie Anderson there. Like, he's a difference maker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think at one point the shots in the first period were like 9-3 Ottawa, and it was 2-0 Toronto. Like it was like Oldmark had some issues there, which I mean, even in Boston, we saw a flash of that in the playoffs in the past. So I do think at the end of the day, if you're Ottawa, you have to like wipe that game one. Like first time in the playoffs in a few years here, most of their roster, first ever playoff game. Batherson scoring was, I'm sure, huge for him, obviously. Kachuk getting his first playoff game. Like, you kind of have to just hope that it was just that first playoff game jitters. But it was just a wildly impressive 60 minutes from Toronto.
And I do think it was a first game. Like, they went out hyper. Like, Ottawa, like, was buzzing, happy for the first, like, period. And then all of a sudden, it was, like, all came crashing down. I think game two is going to tell us a lot more about whether or not this will be a series. Mm-hmm. Not even like win or lose. It's more just like, can they make it a game more balanced? Can they fight back? We'll see. Mm-hmm. So that brings us to the game that we've already talked about a lot. People are already, I think, crazily overreacting to online. Like, I said it in interview with, we brought Jesse Granger on with Joe to talk about game one and what we're looking at moving forward. I feel like both teams, not fan bases, but both teams are looking at this game and they're both like feeling better than they did coming in. Is that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much better Vegas would feel. I mean, I'm sure they were super confident coming in anyways, but like, I thought Minnesota played great. Like, it's annoying because it's the playoffs. It doesn't really matter how well you play. It's just this, whatever, like you put all the fucking cliches. But I mean, over anyone that comes away is like, yeah, they can't possibly win is crazy. like any overreactions one way or the other to me is like, especially just given the fact that I thought they were really impressive in large stretches of that game. Couple plays that they would like back, obviously. I thought that third goal, I do not like Gus getting beat short side there. Same time, he made a couple big saves too. Sure. I mean, we have to feel great about Matt Boldy continuing his stretch of good play. I think the underlying numbers actually don't like substantiate this, but I thought Johansson was really good. Like a lot of what he was doing down the stretch, and he's been playing really well. He generated some scoring chances, his entries in the zone. He's keeping plays alive at the blue line too. Like he was all over the place. Again, the underlying numbers don't look good for the fourth line, but I thought Trenyon and Brazeau made a ton of plays on the forecheck, winning pucks, establishing possession that way. And I mean, they had plenty of chances, big time chances to score. I mean, like Rossi got, like Hayden Hill made some unbelievable saves. We saw Rossi on one in the first or second period. I think it was the second period. But there's definitely more positives to take away than negatives. The only bad thing is the playoffs, so it's just this final score that matters. But I mean, the fact they went in healthy, they came out healthy for the most part, it sounds like. That's what Hines said. Is again great. And then actually, there we go. Is Kirill cooked? I think he's not at 100%, but I mean, at the end of the day, that pass that he made on that Boldy's first goal was insane. So like 70% of Kirill Kaprizov is probably just as good as like 100% of half like the league. So fucking like still ends up with 2 points, but again, more positives than negatives, I think for sure. It's not like, it doesn't look like it's gonna make a lopsided. It could, like, they could honestly lose in 5 games, but like I would suspect them to be competitive in all 5. Like that could happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's just the way the playoffs go. But like to me, there was plenty of reasons to think that they could have won that game last night.
Honestly, like if you take the key sequences where whether it was a missed call or like Gus missed when they should, like this game had the makings of Wild having a chance to take it. And I do think I'm with you. There shouldn't be many blowouts in this series. There'll maybe be one on either side. Mm-hmm. But outside that, like these teams are so disciplined and focused on playing their way. And we talked about it in and out of the stream with Isha, right? Like they both kind of have a similar identity. Top to bottom, like good two-way players for the most part that play their system. And heavy teams, like I am curious though, how long do you think Kaprizov and Boldy stay together?
Yeah. I mean, I probably would hesitate to make the change for game 2.
Sure.
But like for me, what it more even like what like when you look at the overall lines just in general, like the one question you have to have is like, do you really want to keep that third line of Nyquist, Rossi, and Foligno? Or do you want him in that top 6 playing with offensive players where he was scoring this season when he was playing with those guys? It's also tough to like take away Gaudreau and Johansson from this situation that they have going on with Zuccarello. So,
dude, I don't want to be a downer. I think there's absolutely a chance that Rossi plays on the 4th line next game. Right. I think John Hines hates him.
As a person.
No, actually, like I think it's personal at this point. Like I think he, like, whether it's his face that he wants him to change or he's going to change it for him, going to land one of these in his suck hole. I don't know, but dude, watch for it. I think there's a better chance that he's 4th line than 2nd line going into game 2. And really my reason for it, they didn't line match in game 1. Mm-hmm. They're going to line match after what just happened with Kaprizov and Boldy. And I do think there's a real world where, like, dude, I liked how Hartman played. I liked his discipline too, to not get into the bullshit, even though like he would have been justified in doing so. He needs to be in the top 6. I think that like a Boldy Foligno line to be your 2nd line could actually work really well. It gets Foligno more involved and engaged. And then you can put Zuccarello and Kaprizov back together. Hell, have the center be Hartman for all I freaking care. But then you're going to have like a weird cast of characters at the bottom. And I don't know if I want Gus Nyquist playing. Where do you stand on him?
Yeah, it's tough. Like, because I mean, I do think it's weird. The Rossi, Foligno, Nyquist trio, like, again, it's not like I think that they've played poorly. It's just like there's just been no offense for them to have. I mean, again, like Rossi had that one grade A where he had that like
weird.
off the rush. Right, yeah, like a setup on a tee. Again, like for me, it's more so it has less to do with those like Foligno and Nyquist. It just more so has to do with like Rossi is one of your better scorers this season. He was scoring when he was playing with guys like Boldy, with Zuccarello, with Kaprizov. So like if you like you said, Vegas is going to come out and probably match up hard against that Boldy Kaprizov line if they're together again. So do you want to spread it out a little bit and reunite Rossi with some of like that offensive firepower? Like again, it's been annoying that he's been pigeonholed in that third line. And if it is the case where he gets into the fourth line, I'll be really annoyed because at that point, what are you even doing? But that's like, I mean, Hines did mention potential, whatever, like tinkering with some of the lines for game 2. We'll see what happens. But I mean, to me, I do think you probably get a better chance of like getting scoring throughout the lineup if you do like move Rossi up, potentially separate Boldy and Zuccarello, but who knows? Maybe you try that for 20 minutes and it just goes to absolute hell and you're an offensive black hole. Who knows? Like, I don't know. But that's the thing. It's just like, I just don't think you're going to get a whole lot of scoring from that third line, even if they play relatively well and control play for the most part, but who knows? It didn't pan out that way in game 1 though. Like, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm just like so sad. Like, I've never been less confident in Marco Rossi being a member of this team in October. It's pretty, I'm down bad. But, which is funny because I get like accused of being like eager to get him out of here, and it's very much not the case.
We're trying to reverse psychology, you know?
I'm just talking about what's happening. I don't want it to happen.
No, like, we said we at one point we were like, let's just bring it up every week so it doesn't happen.
Like straight up, dude. True, that was a thing, but it's like, imagine going on and just like posting on Twitter, Donald Trump won the election, and someone being like, "Fuck you, you like Trump?" Like that's the equivalent. That's how I feel. I'm being attacked.
Just pointing out the thing that happened, yeah.
Like I'm just stating what's happening because the amount of times that Russo and Joe have said it. Like, they haven't told me any, like, deep, dark secrets behind the scenes. Like, if they're talking about it this much, there is something there. Just open your eyes, people. Ooh. This is actually a really good poll question from Cosgrove. Who hates Rossi more? A, me. B, John Hines. C, his parents. But yeah, I just hope he doesn't end up with a team I hate.
Yeah.
It's really what it comes down to. But all right, back on game 1 and the series as a whole. The refs. Do they, A, hate Ryan Hartman and not want to call penalties related to him? B, see that the Vegas Golden Knights like broke a record for how many penalties were called on them this year, and they're like, well, they're clean, we can't call anything. Or C, it's playoff hockey. Like, where do you land? Or do the refs just suck? That could also be an answer. D, the refs suck.
I mean, like, to me, like the Hartman Haig thing was legitimately mind blowing to me. And again, you know, it's bad when Russo starts dropping first and last names. I think Furbit's out. I think he tweeted Furbit's out like 5 times last night. Very funny. And again, like, yeah, like Hartman was doing what anyone does in the playoffs on that sequence where he's shoving. He like threw a half of a cross check. He grabbed the stick, but then Haig literally turned around away from the play and just cross checked him, like caught him in the face. He's bleeding. Nothing to see here. That was crazy. And
What
I
about
mean, like,
what about the
they
face-off
made
play?
yeah, I mean, I saw it a little bit. I don't know. Like, I never know what to make of those. I mean, like, Gaudreau he was fucking livid after. He made it seem like he really did get whatever. Like, held back. I never like bitching about the rest, but last night, like, just a couple of them were legitimately egregious, where it was just like, how is that nothing? And that, like, again, it's so funny every time. I don't know why they have to bring in the officiating the Dave Jackson. They go to the booth. He's like, they ask what the Hartman plays. Like, do they have a think Minnesota has a reason to be upset? He's like, yeah, no. I was like, oh my god. And then Callahan goes, yeah, I think they have a shout here. I was like, of course. But I don't know, like, it was, what did it end up, like 3-1 or something, penalties maybe?
2-1, I think, and one of them was like a necessity.
Right.
It was like Baldy did it on purpose because he should have.
Yeah. I mean, like, listen, if they want to call very few penalties, fine. But the Haig Hartman thing really is just like, that's what drives everyone insane. Where it's like, it's so egregious, it's right there. And if you want to call it playoff hockey, then, like, I don't know, man. You got to let a whole lot more go. And yeah, it is true though. Like, with Hartman's record, you have to wonder about, like, this is something that we've heard about Hartman before this playoff series, obviously, especially that last suspension. Like, he does have a big time reputation, which unfortunately is a thing in the league with guys. So who knows if that plays anything. I'm never gonna like try to speculate on that too far, but it does happen. So who knows? But it was just like that one is the one that's going to stand out. It's super frustrating because it was just like, it was right there. And I mean, the official is literally in the frame that you can see him staring at the play.
That's the thing. Yeah. And for me, the face-off play, like, first off, the ref had his back turned, so like it's not going to be called. But I can raise my hand and say that if that happens to your team, you get scored on, like, either side would have been pissed off just because of the circumstances with the goal being scored. If there's no goal scored there, like, we're probably not really talking about this. And I still don't think, like, if they called a penalty there, would I be like, what are you calling? No, but I'm not banging the table for that to be called. It's just super unfortunate the way that it played out, that they scored immediately, and that's why. But I don't, it's borderline. Like, it was definitely more than you're used to seeing, but like, people getting tangled up like that on the face-off regular season is like super normal. In the playoffs, it's pretty tough to call that if the ref even did see it, which he didn't, you know? Yeah. So like, that one, I'm not going to sit here and say like that lost us the game. It's a bummer and it's unfortunate. And I respect fans being mad about it, but the Hartman one, I just can't get over. That's insane.
Right. Yeah. And again, like, especially every time the refs end up somehow coming up every fucking playoff game, I am not going to ever sit here and be like, the other reason the Wild loss was the officiating. I know that's not what we're saying right now. I'm just saying in general, like, that didn't really factor into this loss in the first place. But again, for me, the big one was just the Hartman Haig thing, where it was like also the Haig literally turned away from the play to cross-check Hartman. Like, the puck was behind him when he, like, it was crazy. It was just like, okay, he actually like abandoned the puck for a second and just like cross-checked it. So whatever, is what it is. So it's frustrating when you have to talk about refs after a playoff game, though. But yeah.
Does part of you miss Evison freaking out about refs post game?
No, I can't handle it because we get enough of it anyways. Like, whether it's like Twitter or it's whatever, we still get, like, Hines came out and said it after the game too. He's like, was that a penalty on Gaudreau off the face-off? He's like, yes. It's like, oh fuck, he just said it. It's whatever.
Yeah. William, tough look on the final play, which I think that's just a welcome to the NHL moment. Outside that, like, played fine. And I love to, I gotta, hang on, I'll find the exact quote, but I rather enjoy whenever there's someone like Jake Middleton who's going to be self-deprecating. Per Russo, Jake Middleton on William. When I was 19, when I was his age, I wasn't even running a power play in junior, so I can't really relate to it. What he's feeling right now, but he's going to be an exceptional player. You can see it already. And Russo has at the bottom, editor's note, Middleton was a great junior player.
That's a great addition.
That's awesome. Yeah. Best editor note.
Yeah. Much like we were talking about with this game in general, it's crazy if anyone watches one game and immediately has like a strong take on like Zeev Buium's future in the NHL. Probably the toughest possible environment that he could have been thrown into. First ever game. It's the playoffs. It's in Vegas. You're playing on a third pair with Zach Bogosian. Another thing like I really think people need to realize too is just like for his entire playing career up to this point, he has been a number 1 or a number 2 defenseman. He literally played 50 minutes in the national semis like 2 weeks ago. Like this is brand new territory for him. As far as just like the playing environment, he's getting used to whatever, like playing with these guys, playing against NHL players. And I like that pass on that last sequence there when they're chasing the lead, and obviously Boldy ends up taking the penalty. That pass makes it where that's going in, like that's the college hockey player. Like you have that space in college. You don't have that here. Like no one's jumping that pass in college.
Well, honestly, though, I think what it was, he watched like all of the celebration debacle when Vegas won the cup, and he's like, there's no way this William Karlsson guy has the reaction time to poach this. Like, I'm surprised his shirt's on right now. Still being honest.
But like, it'll be interesting to see how he gets to play because I mean he got used more and more as the game went on, and I mean what a statement it was at the end of the game that they throw him on for the extra attacker on the back end there. But like. When I was watching him and Bogosian together, like I was significantly more worried about Bogosian than I was Zeev Buium. Like again, I thought he got a little bit more comfortable as the game went on. He never looked fully confident or whatever. And there were a couple of plays like in that second period. I remember he had a clear chance to shoot, didn't take it. He was holding on to pucks a little bit too long, trying to make like a perfect pass. But like again, all in all, first ever NHL game, toughest environment you could possibly imagine. Like I thought he was fine. Like. Anyone that expects him to come in and like put up 3 points is crazy. So we'll see if he like who knows what. Again, like Hines mentioned, potential lineup changes, moving guys around. We'll see if he gets more shifts. Like he doesn't have to like even start in the same pair as like a Spurgeon or Faber, whoever. But you got to wonder if they start throwing him on the ice a little bit more often with those guys, with the top units, like the top 6 at the same time too. And I mean, realistically, it's going to probably be more clear like when they're back in Minnesota and can dictate like those changes. But yeah, I thought he was fine. Like didn't look significantly out of place. Again, looks like he was getting his feet under him first ever NHL game. Yeah. And again, it said a lot that as that third period went on, they were chasing that lead. Like he was getting thrown on the ice a lot more. So yeah, that was fun.
I'm excited to see what he looks like in game 2, just because like ever NHL game, there's just so much going through his mind, the jitters, the excitement, and like the negative nerves too. Like that's done, and he literally just had the worst case scenario for himself. He threw a pass that basically iced the game for Vegas. He's not going to make that pass again, and he got the monkey off his shoulder. Like he can't come in and do something. Yeah, obviously you can make worse mistakes, but like that's a pretty pivotal moment, and the team's going to come right back and keep him in the same position. If they don't, then I have no comment.
yeah. Like, we'll scrap that.
Then, John Hines, I hate you for another reason. But
last matchup related thing. What a game for Aiden Hill made some unbelievable saves. And again, like I know someone asked Gustafson after the game about that second one. I don't know if he just like bit on Theodore shooting from the point, but I mean, he was frozen in his crease when he passed over to Dorofeev. I mean, Dorofeev had an entire wide open net. And I already said before that third one off the rush, really want that to not beat you short side. Hurdle one. I don't know. You could talk to people who, or whatever, goaltending specialists say you can't get beat there the short side. That was a ridiculous shot.
Come on.
Also, he took the puck from like Haber literally had the puck, got dispossessed, and then Hurdle just turned around and rifled. I mean, he couldn't have placed it any more perfect. So
yeah. Also, Zeev Buoyant +1, Brock Faber -1.
Well, not anymore.
Oh, did Zeev
He was on the ice that third. He was on the ice for the third one.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oops.
Yeah. But either way, again, Gus also made he made a huge save in that first period when they were already down 1-0. I think it was Eichel had that breakaway. That was a huge save from Gustafsson too. So I don't know if I sound like I'm being like, Gustafsson wasn't great or whatever. He made a bunch
I wanted
of really
to see a little more, but he also had big moments, and I'm not worried about him at all. Right.
Right.
Cosgrove pulling a move like I did last night. Kaprizov put up 3 points in his first game. Come on, Zeev.
It's
our
great.
boy Trav Zimmerman chiming in. Sean, Kirill was 23 years old and had played pro hockey for 5 years. Cosgrove was absolutely making a joke, just like Isha made a point to comment to me today that he was like punching the air when I said, "Wait, Brett, you have a puppy?" And Brett started explaining, "Yeah, I do. Her name's Rue." And he's just like, "No, don't lean into it." And he's like, your reaction immediately was like, "Oh, God damn it." Yeah.
But anything else on the Wild Vegas game 1 that we wanted to touch on?
Trav knew. Okay. Trav leaned into it too. Fair enough. But Brett had I could have gone on for 20 minutes, asking him "Oh my God, I had no idea you had a dog. Tell me the origins." Shout out Brett. I'm sorry. I just can't help myself. Man. I don't have anything too crazy. Really, game 2 is going to be interesting if I can stay awake for it. God bless you on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed, maybe Rossi gets a couple shifts in that top 6 if they want to make any.
I thought you were going to say hopefully he gets a couple shifts.
Just in general. But yeah, I don't know. Again, significantly more positives after that first game than negatives for me. So,
people were acting like it's all over, and I don't agree.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see what games started so far for tonight.
Only one, and it was 0-0 last I saw. Yep, still 0-0 halfway through Montreal and Washington.
Did you see Patrick Laine's suit? His getup for this game?
But I believe that it was incredible.
It was unbelievable.
All the way down to the shoes. We need it.
It was. No, he's looking phenomenal.
What we do need to discuss, though, Z, because it may have just made my entire existence. Ivan Demidov. Did you hear them asking about his role models?
No.
They asked him, you obviously, you grew up being a huge Ovi fan, right? He's like, I mean, when I was a little kid, yeah, I guess, but really, I like Evgeny Malkin.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's a win for the good guys. Let's go.
It's a big play for them.
Let's go.
That rocks.
I never thought that I would hear that.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. God, makes me sick that he's in Montreal. God,
that is a real tough look for you. Although, can we be honest? I know you hate Montreal via Boston. It'd be so much worse for everyone if he was in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be terrible.
Yep. That'd be bad for the whole world, actually. Sean Cosgrove saw the picture of Lion Ace. What the fuck are their shoes? LOL. Yeah, the shoes are also insane. Yeah.
Oh, we got super chat here. Minnesota Wild and Florida Panthers fan here. We got to ask you, Winnipeg Jets fan, Launceston, Tasmania. I think I'm maybe pronouncing that correctly. I don't know. We need your thoughts in the chat here, my friend. Do the Florida Panthers have a chance against this juggernaut Lightning team? Because literally, if they were playing anyone besides Tampa, I'd be picking Florida, but they're playing Tampa, so I'm not picking Florida. Oh my goodness.
Why did it do next to the fire hydrant?
That is fun.
He looks incredible. Yeah. That's a win for the league.
I'm not going to lie. I want his shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cosgrove was wrong. If that was a negative, what the fuck are those shoes?
He was trolling again. I got to say, though, I hate, like, maybe I can't see it close enough right now because of, like, the sizing and positioning, but I really hate the look of I see a lot of guys in pro sports that will have the pants that are just a touch too short, and then they don't have socks.
Yeah, like those short socks.
I hate it.
The no sock or no show socks with like it throws me off every time.
Yep.
Maybe it should also just be because like I can't do that. Like my feet will like it'll be on fire.
True, but when it's other people, I just don't like seeing it. But for me, correct. I
don't put your ankles away.
I have very specific socks that I need. I don't want the tall socks unless it's like dress socks. That's different. But I can't have the ones that like tuck under your ankle and are like inside your shoe. Like they have to be the ones that basically go like an inch above like that line.
Mm-hmm.
It's so perfect. I can't advocate more strongly for it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
So it is what it is. But yes, Patrick Laine, go. Almost Minnesota Wild until he said he didn't want to be a member of the Minnesota Wild. Patrick Laine. Dude, that's an elite group. We got Patrick Laine and Phil Kessel who said, fuck Minnesota. We got prospect stuff. Black Aces announced. We have, we're missing an important name, which is concerning, but apparently it is Hunter Haight, Liam Ogren, Travis Boyd, Carson Lambos, Ben Jones, which it's very funny. Ben Jones is the only one who has a first name here on the outline. Cam Crotty, I forget Gonce's first name, and Lavai. Wallstedt and Shore were already here. I mean, good for them by and large. Probably doesn't ultimately boil down to a whole lot that matters, but good for all of them. Is there anyone besides Ogren that you could even fathom breaking the lineup for any reason?
No. I mean, literally I think the only other like possibility would be like the doomsday scenario or both your goalies get hurt. It's probably the only. But
hang on, dude. Both goalies get hurt. Wallstedt comes in and just fucking stands on his head. He's doing the Marc-Andre Fleury push-ups in the crease.
The most fascinating season of all time. From the time that he signed that extension till now, like ends up becoming the starting goaltender in the playoffs.
I wish people weren't so knee-jerk on goalies after like seeing firsthand, oh wait, Gustafsson had a bad year, but he's still a fucking stud. Actually better than he was the year before. Everyone still decides, even with a bunch of injuries and like super weird circumstance where a guy is told you are an NHLer and gets sent down immediately. Like people got to get off Wallstedt. Like it's crazy that they're already moving on. Like how are we going to solve the goalie situation? Like maybe give him a second to breathe. Like him and Gustafsson next year seems fun to me. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, he also I think he had like 3 different injuries this year. Like it's been a weird like 10 months for him in general. The fact that they ever even again, like we said this from the jump, like the fact that the initial plan was the 3 goalie rotation thing was crazy. Like mind blowing that they thought that might work, but I mean, we never even ended up finding out. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Still not worried about it at all. But yeah, Black Ace is always good for those guys to get around like the see what it's like.
Not always
in the playoffs.
Not always.
Okay, or it's not.
Well, oh, sorry, I thought you'd get that. It's not great to be a Black Ace in Chicago.
Yep. No, I got that right before you said it. But yeah, I mean, realistically, they're not gonna. A lot would have to go wrong for those guys in the lineup, anyway. So,
great comment from Sean. Turns out we had a 1 goalie rotation. Trav asks, did we ever hear what the trade offer was for Line A? I don't know all of the pieces verbatim, but my understanding is it was going to be Freddie Gaudreau and Gustafson going the other way as part of the package. I don't know what the final, like on both sides would have been, but imagine losing Gustafson.
No.
Like, Spacek is a non-factor for a D-man. He's also going over and playing for Czechia.
Mm-hmm.
Is he gonna just go back to Europe, do you think? Like, is he seeing the writing on the wall and he's just not about it?
Spacek?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he got fucking a lot of playing time in Iowa. I mean, I think they at one point were potentially calling him up. So we'll see. But I haven't heard or seen that. I mean, like we've heard from Russo, like how much like the organization really likes him. Unless he looks like the Jiricek thing and decides that the writing's on the wall there, then maybe. But who knows? I don't think. Again, I haven't seen or heard anything about that. But knowing him with his track record, like international play, he's about to go over there, like rip up the world. So fucking, he is fun to watch with that Team Czechia though. Like he just like, I don't know if it's just like the extra jump you get from like playing internationally, but he always performs. He's very fun to watch. He just pounds the puck.
Wait, I'm sorry, what? What? I'm very confused by Cosgrove's question. All right, moving on, I guess.
I don't
know. Let's then talk about just Iowa Wild season. Again, kind of a victim of injuries, call-ups, what have you. Like, what do we think of this season, and do we have a positive outlook next year with all the guys coming in?
So this is one thing that really is it's kind of like, obviously there's a lot of moving parts, especially the next year or two coming up in the off season. But for me, they really need to make some changes. Like they cannot continue being this bad every year. Like I mean, the past couple of years, they were in playoff contention over the last like 3 or 4 years, maybe for a total of 5 weeks, like cumulatively. Like they have been like close to the doormat of that division consistently. And like, given the amount of young guys that have come up, how few roster spots there are already, like as is the next year or two, they have to change that program down there. They have to at least be a decently successful team, because some of the games down there are just, I mean, it's not good for anyone. Like we talk about other, like you look like the Washington Capitals. They've got a couple of guys in their lineup this year specifically that like they've been playing in Hershey. That's one of the best, if not the best. Like that's in terms of like how they run their AHL team, how they treat the AHL. They take it very seriously. They've won a bunch of championships. Like it's a fun place to play. That barn is crazy. It's a great place for like young players to come in and develop if they're like either whatever, not ready for the NHL yet. But that's like a big thing for me that needs to change. Because I mean, like we went from having like a pretty, like it was probably, again, before they really started like going off on like this draft picks or whatever, it was a very average team with a lot of older guys and like a couple prospects here and there. Then the last few years, they went heavy in on the youth and like also bringing in mostly like ECHL guys from across the league. I don't know if it's like a management thing or if it's a coaching thing, whatever it is, like they have to start investing way more into Iowa. because I do think it like makes a difference for a lot of these kids that like, again, there's no NHL spot for them like this year and next year, but they're ready to move on from junior or ready to move on from college. Like they need to make that a really good place to develop prospects. And I can't help but like look at specifically the back end when they have like 6 guys under 23 years old, like playing, like that's not going to go well in the AHL. Like it's not really great for development. So that's a big change I think they do need to make in the next few years here, because they have so many young players that are going to be coming in ready to play some version of pro hockey. And we don't want them like just jumping from junior or college, getting like 5 or 6 games in the AHL and then hoping that they're ready to go when there's a spot open up for them. So that's one thing that I really do think they need to really invest in.
But we got Riley Heidt.
Young guy.
I'm just happy that he's out of Prince George. Sad that he signed already, so he can't play with the Gophers. But on that note, let's talk about a guy that will be playing for the Gophers in my dreams. Ryder Ritchie and his boy Gavin McKenna. WHL playoffs. How are they faring?
They are faring quite well. They're on to the conference final. They won their first series. They swept. Second series, they won up 4-1. Richie's got points in all but 2 of those games. Last time I checked, he had 11 points. Yep. Gavin McKenna had a measly 1 assist the other night in their clinching win. He also had 9 shots on net. Again, one of the eventual game winners, like a fucking Michigan goal. It's so fun to watch. And that team, again, they are just high octane offense. They have the puck more or less the whole game. They're like, they have scoring all over their lineup. They're super physical. They hit, like, at this point, they look like one of those favorites to come out of there. Again, conference final, only lost 1 playoff game so far. Gavin McKenna, Jesus Christ, he is just, it's scary how good he is. Like, it is something else. Potentially the college rate. Who knows?
I'm so torn between the league rigging the draft lottery so that Pittsburgh can get McKenna versus also really, really needing Kyle Dubas to offer sheet Matty Nyes.
Yeah.
Now, the perfect world, like wet dream scenario, successfully offer sheet Matty Nyes. Don't care what the dollar value is. New York Rangers decide they want to keep their pick this year and have unprotected going to next year. The Rangers pick wins the lottery. Pittsburgh gets both Matty Nyes and Gavin McKenna.
There you go.
I can't even concoct what will be going through my mind at that time. But if that all happened, I would never be able to complain about hockey ever again.
Yeah. No, you literally couldn't.
I wouldn't.
I would.
Come on. You wouldn't enjoy seeing that happen to the Leafs while Marner also goes to play for the Bruins?
Now we're talking. If I get something out of it.
Let him cook.
Let's see what else we got. I don't know if there's actually much else we got.
I think we're pretty much good. Does Mateo have anything else he wants us to address? Or do we have anything from the chat that we've missed that Mateo has queued that he wanted to throw up? I have no idea. Oh, I mean, I didn't, but it's also, I won't say that it isn't true. I won't say that it is, but I won't say that it isn't. Heartlanders game 3. I don't know. It appears that there's nothing. Trying to see.
I mean, whatever. Last other super brief prospect note. Shout out Rasmus Kumpelainen and HC Pelicans or whatever, Lottie Pelicans. I forget the first name, but they survived the relegation. I almost said Swinny. Kumpelainen scored a couple games in that last series to keep them up in Finnish Liga next year, so that's good.
Could you imagine worse vibes? Like going back to play for your hometown team, they get relegated, and you're like, all right, I guess I'm going to the Wild now. Fuck me.
Yeah. And I think it's the U. Is it? No, it's not U18s. But Suwini's playing with Finland right now. He's got points in 3 of their 4 games. They lost the other day to Sweden 4-3, but he ended up with 2 assists. So that's always nice. He looked really good playing. Like when he plays U20, he's actually played really well this year. He missed a ton of time after World Juniors. Like I think he played in 1 game. I think he got injured, but playing like U20, this is what we talked about, like when he got drafted too. Like he did not look like he was all that ready to go play pro hockey in Finland. But when he plays, like I guess his age group looks great. So it's just nice to see him on the ice again and playing like a top 4 role for Finland right now.
Nice.
And that's about it, dude. That's all I got.
Mateo hasn't thrown anything else our way, so I think that might be it. I think we might be ending it. Oh, the one thing he's got on here that I don't think we covered, but Janil Yurov allegedly might be here next year.
In theory. He came back right in time for the playoffs. I think they lost in, I don't know if it was maybe in the first round actually. But he scored a goal in like their second to last game. It was an absolute missile. So that's like 2 surgeries had the last 12 months, but he also has just like come back from those, just like looked fine. So that's always intriguing. But in theory, he's supposedly going to be here next year. Fingers crossed.
Set expectations though. Like I feel like a lot of fans just hear like highly touted Russian that we're getting to come over from playing well in the KHL, and he might be a center. Like, what can he do?
Well, yeah, I mean,
year 1, I'm saying, like, not long term. Like, should we have expectations year 1, or do we need to dial it back a lot?
I mean, I think he can come in and put up a little bit of offense in the NHL. Like, I'll be very curious to see where he slots in potentially in the lineup, assuming he makes that roster out of camp. Like, do you just put him with Kaprizov and Zuccarello and see if that works? Assuming Zook signs or whatever. But I mean, it's always interesting because for him, I mean, he's playing in the KHL, which, depending who you ask, 2nd or 3rd best league outside of the NHL. And I mean, he's played at a super high level there. They've obviously won the championship last year. He was like a major part of that team. This year, he missed some time with injuries, but still put up like roughly half a point per game or so. So, I mean, he's played really high level hockey, played pro hockey already, looks really good, shown the ability to play center and wing, plays a really good 2-way game too. And he's got some of that like next level skill in offense upside. So we'll see if he ends up playing, like if he gets a look like a meaningful role, he can definitely put up points. Wouldn't necessarily look for him to like drive a line next year. But I mean, if you put him in the right situation, he's going to be able to come in and play. Just given the fact that he's played 2 full seasons, more or less, of KHL hockey at a high level so far last 2 years.
Officially,
if he loses first face-off, it's over though.
Done. But if he wins his first 2 in a row, then he's
getting traded to Boston.
Next Murat Husnudinov. And yeah, he will go to Boston.
I will buy a Yurov Bruins jersey if that's the case.
Yep. All right. Russo says the Wild appear to be sticking with and trusting Zeev Buium amid possible Game 2 lineup changes. And they won't worry about officiating.
Did he say that?
He said that. It's great.
He's like,
oh my God,
he's like, I will.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm guessing that means Ovechkin has scored. Damn it. All right. It's over for Montreal. Pack it in. Blame Demidov for saying that Malkin's better.
Yep, he's just snipe.
Oh,
Oh, he's fired up.
Shout out Andrew, who says that we are both cool and he likes us and respects us, which I don't think there's anyone else in the world that likes both of us and respects both of us. It's usually like one or the other at best.
Tolerates, yeah.
There are some that tolerate, for sure. God damn it.
Ooh, Ovechkin has this scary look in his eye right now, too.
Like he's drunk or what?
It's like when he scores, he's not like smiling. He's like, it's almost like he's more angry. Like he just got on the bench, looked like he was like drooling. Like he's like rabid.
You wouldn't like me if I'm mad.
Oh yeah, he is.
Right.
Oh yeah, he's unhinged right now.
Big game 2 coming up. Go Wild. Go everyone's sleep. I'm sorry, it's probably not going to go well on that one. God, you know that's going to be the overtime game too.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really rough.
It's going to be great.
But successful. We're getting out of here in under an hour and a half. This is impressive. That tells you how much we've actually been recording lately.
Yeah, I know.
Because this is unheard of. I think that's it.
Yeah. See everyone next week. Hopefully. Yeah, I was gonna say hopefully. You always have to throw the.
It is not a guarantee that the Wild are still playing by the time we record next.
Yes, it is.
They should be, but it's not a guarantee.
There we go. Drop the gloves.
Get him.
All right. Yep. See everyone Monday.